I'm sure we're going to differ in opinion with whatever your rant is. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what you have on your mind, but I'm 100% prepared to disagree because I'm 100% sure you're wrong about whatever it is you're about to say.
Yeah, to let y'all behind the scenes, we don't tell each other what our rants are going to be about. Well, at least that's been the trend the last few weeks. I kind of like it because we don't get a chance to really prepare. So you don't know what angle I'm coming at with this. And I realize this is going to threaten my credibility a little bit the way it's
You're wrong. You're wrong.
But this is an issue that I think people who've been discussing the league have that they need to come to grips with. Ben Simmons is a bit overrated. People refer to the Philadelphia 76ers as having a big three. Ben Simmons does not fit the description of what you would consider a third player in a big three at this point in his career. As a young point guard-ish player, my rule stands. Ben needs time to develop like anybody else. I think we judge him, his performances. I think we look at him and his game based on the fact that he's 6'10" and he has such a mature game that it's easy to forget just how young he is. And he did miss a year. But at the end of the day, Joel Embiid is a bona fide MVP talent level player. And Jimmy Butler is an established all-star.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
I knew that was going to hurt. I know that was going to hurt.
I thought I threw up in my mouth. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
But Ben Simmons in the fourth quarter is people look at his non-shooting. I don't think his non-shooting is that big of an issue because he's 6'10". And if you're 6'10", and you can get under the free throw line, that's not a bad scenario for most players at 6'10". And he's a talented enough, athletic enough guy that getting into that position, not a bad look for him. The problem is he is a terrible free throw shooter. Terrible free throw shooter. So when you combine terrible free throw shooting, the fact that not that he shoots a low percentage, but that he won't shoot from 18 feet out, won't take it. And then he finishes different in the fourth quarter because he's avoiding contact. The same thing people accuse LeBron of. Early in the game, you would have just dunked on him. But at the end of the game, you're trying to get the layup because you're afraid if you go to the line, you'll get one or none. And in Ben's case, you are going to get one or none. I mean, LeBron, he gets a little jittery in the fourth, but he was at least a league average to above average free throw shooter for most of his career. Ben Simmons is a bad free throw shooter, and usually in the fourth quarter, that doesn't get better. Philly does not have a big three. They have a potential young star, but that is cut by the fact that he has a serious couple of holes in his game that, in the case of Philadelphia, dramatically hurts their ability to win in the playoffs, particularly because Joel Embiid has not developed to the point where everybody's barbecue chicken all the time. And if he's going to get to that point, he needs better spacing. And Ben Simmons is not only killing that spacing, but when he gets the ball, he's compromising their situation. And Al Horford still plays excellent defense of Joel Embiid. And right now, when you look at the matchups in the league, it's not a good look for the 76ers. So stop calling them a big three. Ben Simmons is not at that point yet, and he has to either fix his shooting or free throw shooting and get both to league average before he deserves to be put with guys who are all-stars with a complete game.
Well, I would agree.
That looked like it hurt a little bit.
Well, I would agree. I would agree. He is not a superstar at this point. And to me, in order to have a big three, all three of your players need to be a superstar.
At least all-star.
You know, I mean, he's probably an all-star. He's probably an all-star. I mean, it would be difficult for me to say there are 12 dudes in the Eastern Conference that are better than him. You know, like that's kind of tough. But I don't think that he is a guy who night in, night out changes every game. And to me, that's kind of what a superstar is. You know, he has, as you said, too many limitations. Everybody has kryptonite, right? Everybody got a thing, right, that they don't necessarily do as well as others, right? But the superstars have one of those things, and on a given night, even doing that ain't gonna work, right? You know, so it's like Michael Jordan was like, oh, okay, well, he's not a great three-point shooter. Well, some nights you can't even give him that. You know what I mean? LeBron, well, you're better off if you make him go to his left.
Sometimes that
ain't gonna even work. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just
and then his partner Embiid. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes Embiid to be hot from three, taking you to the hole, hitting his free throws, playing defense. Some nights he just have everything for you.
Yeah.
Ben is sometimes he's just a nothing on offense for too long of a time.
Yeah, I mean the fact that, and I understand he plays with Embiid, you know, but the fact that all of his numbers drop in the fourth quarter is not a good thing.
Yeah,
all of them. You know, in some instances, it's a picogram level of a drop, but it's still a dip. Do you realize, as bad of a free throw shooter as he is, right? His lowest, he shoots free throws the worst in the fourth quarter. Okay. And that's when he shoots the most of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So he shoots 1.6 free throws a game. I mean, 1.6 free throws in the fourth quarter a game. He shoots 49% from the free throw line in the fourth quarter.
Completely unacceptable.
Yeah, and here's the thing that's odd. In the third quarter, he shoots 74% from the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, his field goal percentage is pretty high in the fourth quarter, but he takes the fewest amount of shots.
Well, and this is why I think efficiency can be an overrated stat, because against a highly competitive team, sometimes you don't get highly efficient opportunities for stretches at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you need your talented guys, including your coach, to create opportunities to make low efficient things more possible.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw Kyrie Irving at the end of the game. We give Kyrie a lot of flack because he was another guy we were calling overrated. And I mean, I still stand by that. I don't think Kyrie is one of the top 5 or 10 best players in the league, but I do think Kyrie's a very good player. I've said that as well. But Kyrie's ability to finish over large defenders in traffic is actually elite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in fact, I said this way earlier in the year. Kyrie's post game is secretly like elite.
I mean,
in the post, and excellent defense by Jimmy Butler. It would be crazy. What did I say about Kyrie? His main problem is that he's not 6'6". If he was 6'6", he could have all the Kobe Bryant stuff. Well, he also needs to throw a little muscle in that frame and play some D, but which Kobe did. But yeah, I mean, from an offensive standpoint, if Kyrie was 6'6", he would be all those things we're talking about. But as 6'3", he needs to be a better defender and playmaker to transition into that elite level with the other guards who are in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just a lot of things, man. To me, you cannot be a part of a big three if in the fourth quarter
you're a negative.
You score less, you rebound less, and you get less assists, all in the fourth quarter. If that's what you do, then you can't be a part of a big three. They have the potential for a big three. And perhaps even as soon as next year, they'll have a big three. But right now, and until he gets to the point where he he's got to get that free throw shooting up to at least like 67%.
Even better, man. He's got to hit 70, 75. Like, seriously.
He does. He does.
Because
but
he needs to be comfortable going. Now, let me explain why real quick. Ben Simmons is so good with the basketball, both passing and getting to the rim. And he's 6'10". This cannot be understated. The guy is a legitimate 6'10". He stands next to LeBron. He towers over LeBron James. And in as much as a 6'10" guy stands over a 6'8" guy, people always say LeBron 6'9". He's not 6'9", and you know that when he stands next to Ben Simmons.
Well, even though they're saying now Ben Simmons is actually 7 feet tall.
Maybe then LeBron must be 6'9".
Yeah,
because
that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
A clean 2.5 inches over LeBron James.
Yes, now because they're saying that Ben Simmons, because he's grown 2 inches since he got in the league. And now they were saying this last year, I think it was in April. They were saying that he was a legit 7 feet tall now.
Maybe that's true because the guy looks enormous.
Yes.
Next to big players, he still looks big. So, and he's got a huge frame. The kid is, I mean, he was huge coming in. And he's just getting more swole by the day. So here's the thing. Excellent going to the basket. Excellent finishing talent. Especially earlier in the games when he's hitting his free throws, you finish a little better, right? Because you're not as tentative. You're willing to take the foul a little bit more. Obviously, super gifted passer.
Yes.
Right? Can see over the defense in a way we haven't seen since Magic Johnson. From the point guard position, LeBron plays small forward. Obviously, he has that skill, but Ben Simmons is over smaller players more often than LeBron is. If he doesn't fix that free throw shooting, it's going to be a consistent problem for Philadelphia. And it's the reverse of what happened in LA. It was a problem for LA because the games are too close for us to be dealing with hack-a-shack, which is why Kobe Bryant doesn't get enough credit. And the teams that he faced will tell you this. You know, Reggie Miller and those guys will tell you this. Doug Christie and Chris Webber will tell you this. Yeah, it's the fact that he would come in the fourth quarter and kill us when we would think we could get Shaq sat down or something like that. When we wanted to hack Shaq, we didn't get a break because he would go off. Embiid is not to that point where he can go off despite the fact that Ben Simmons is getting hacked and sat down. I don't think that dynamic works when the other guy's on the perimeter and you need to be down low. He's got to fix it. And until he does fix it, Philly's in trouble in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it's too big of a liability for a guy that is such a big part of what they do.
Yeah, I would put that in their top 3 problems right now going forward.
I think it's their number 1 problem.
I would not necessarily disagree with that.
I think it's their number 1 problem because I think that if he could be more aggressive and take the chains off of his game and off of his mind and the way that he attacks, because he felt more comfortable with shooting the 3 and with attacking the basket, going to the line and making free throws, I think that it hides many of the other deficiencies that they have across the floor, because it results in him keeping the ball just 2 seconds longer and making a positive play out of a situation, as opposed to having to give it up because now you're in a no zone. You know what I'm saying? And now you allow this great player to play like a great player. Right now, he's holding himself back because I don't think that, because if you talk about shooting form, if you look at Ben Simmons shoot, it doesn't look as if this is something, there's no Markelle Fultz thing happening.
No, I don't know why he won't shoot. Like I look at him shoot, and every time I've seen him shoot, it looks like, yeah, you should just be shooting. I don't know, just shoot it, bro. Why you're not shooting.
If it doesn't go in, it doesn't go in, but just shoot it.
Yeah.
You know, just shoot the ball, you know. So I think that, yeah, it's all in his head. And he just needs to just start pulling the trigger. I know he's shooting them in practice. He has to be. He has to be taking extra shooting. You know, I've seen him actually warming up shooting, right? And fewer of them go in than most NBA players I've ever seen doing shoot-arounds.
Yeah,
I will give you that.
Yeah.
So because I've literally sat behind him while he was shooting at the United Center, right? And I'm like, yeah, you miss a lot more than than most every other NBA player that I've ever seen shooting, right? But it's not to the point where I would say you don't need to be shooting at all.
Well, because the way they're guarding him is so disrespectful in the fourth quarter. They're literally just surrounding Embiid and Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, forget you. You do whatever you want. We're just going to hang out back here. Like, even Lonzo Ball, who gets a lot of flack for his jumper, they don't guard him like that. They still defend Lonzo.
Yeah, because he can make enough of them.
Yeah, to help you win. But the fact that you won't take it goes back to what we were saying about Draymond. You can't look like you ain't even going to try.
Right? I'm not going to try. Forget it. Okay, that's it. Pass it up. Don't even look over here.
So the final verdict on that segment was Books, you were right. I just want to hear you say it.
I wouldn't say Books, you were right. I would say Books, you're not completely insane, which is really different than that. So, you know, I wouldn't go that far to do that at all.
I realize that's the best you could do, and I appreciate you.
You know, it's so crazy. I look at a video of Ben Simmons 3-pointers. Do you know the majority of them that he has shot in his career have come from nearly half court? Like,
all buzzer beaters, right? He like literally only shoots when he has to.
Yes, that is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Like, what is going on with the people with mental instability in Philly?
Yeah, and then this is what I'm saying. Like, if he was a superstar and he was doing this, they would be killing him.
Yes.
Like, even Giannis, and Giannis's shot is not pretty by any stretch. Giannis, when people sag off of Giannis, sometimes he'll just pull up in their face, and sometimes he hits.
Yeah, and sometimes he'll make it.
Yeah, he's like, you know, you ain't gonna walk away from me.
Right.
That.
Right.
Like that's what he needs to do. You know what I mean? If he doesn't start doing it, they're in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think everybody watching is in trouble because the show has come to an end.
Very sad moment.
And it's a very sad moment for everyone, except for my wife who's producing the show, who's probably ripped just her face and hair completely out because
we went 20 minutes over every segment.
Like 55 minutes over on every segment. But it is what it is. It's okay. It's all right, guys. She says that she's bald now, which I'm hoping is not the case because we do not need to match in that way. All righty. So, but I appreciate everybody watching. As always, don't forget to subscribe, share this video, and also just keep staying with us. You know what I mean? Keep staying with us. We're watching and seeing the engagement. I'm going to make a conscious effort to try to respond to more of the comments that are out there that happen because I do read like almost all of them. So sometimes I kind of just like to let you guys have a conversation, you know, when you guys are talking, which I've noticed that has happened a few times. But I'll chime in a little bit more than I have been. So I appreciate you guys watching as always. For Books, peace.
Pocket, I'll be weak. I'm rather unique.